think about, what do I have in my business today? And if someone says no to my offer, what happens next? Do I have, or does my team have, something that they can offer as a next step? Because just because they're not ready today doesn't mean they won't be ready forever. Welcome back to another episode of the Ownership Advantage podcast. My name is Tanner O'Brien. I'm a senior partner here at ActionCOACH in Central Texas. And I just wanted to take a few minutes here and record kind of a solo podcast conversation on a topic that's been really important in my mind. As I've been kind of working through a few different things, thought it might be something that's valuable to others out there. So I wanted to share a little bit about it. That is the concept of understanding really the warmth of the leads that are being produced for your specific business, or for our business in my example here. And what's the journey that they go through? What are the things that, how can we get them engaged and bring them into kind of our overall ecosystem? So one of the things that's been really important to think about was being able to identify what is the warmth of a lead. So I'll just take a few minutes here and talk a little bit about that. So warmth of lead. When we think about a lead that comes in from a client referral or a customer referral, they come in from maybe a networking group that we've been a part of for a really long time, or some strategic partners that we built some relationships up with. These are traditionally much warmer leads. You could even look at it from a context of people who already know who you are and are seeking a specific solution to their problem that they know that you offer. These would be probably even warmer than warm. They'd be hot leads. So when we understand that, that's one category. But on the other end of the spectrum, we might have somebody who opted into a free lead magnet. Maybe it's a paid ad that's kind of going out to people who haven't heard of you before. These are going to be a lot colder leads. So why it's important to understand that is, one, understanding what's the lead channel that it's coming in from. Two, what do I do with these leads once they do come in? If it's a really warm or a hot lead, I want to get into that conversation. I want to really make sure that we're moving them into the next step that they're looking for, which is being able to solve that problem essentially immediately. They've already identified what the problem is. They already know who you are. So let's make sure that we've provided enough value up front and we've built the rapport and we're a good fit, and let's go ahead and move forward and get that resolution in place for them. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we've got the cold leads. They may not know who we are yet. They may not know exactly what their problem is. They kind of have some feelings of things that might not, that they might have some frustration with, but they can't really put a name to it yet. So we've got to help educate them. We've got to bring them across this bridge in order to help them feel comfortable with us, understand what that problem is, and help them understand a way that they can articulate, like, yeah, this is the problem I have. This is how I need it solved, and things like that. So we realize that there's a lot of education that needs to be happening. It's important to understand that maybe they're not ready for a sales conversation yet. We do want to bring them into our ecosystem. So this brings into the concept of value ladder. Maybe it's sales funnel. You can look at it a couple different ways, but ultimately, where in our ecosystem are they a best fit for, so we can bring them along the journey at the place that they're at in the journey today. Let's take one of those examples. So maybe it's a lead. I clicked on we'll call it a Facebook ad. It was a download of some resource. Kind of thought it was interesting, but I haven't really identified that I've got a need for something yet. So going right into a sales meeting or having somebody call me right away and say, hey, let's have this sales conversation, that's a little off-putting. I'm not ready for that yet. I don't know who this company is. I don't know much about them in most cases, right? So where might I fit in? Well, I might fit into a community group that's really focused on that one specific resource. I might fit really well into a series of emails that help me understand how to use that resource and continues to provide value to me, or helps me get the most value out of the thing that I just opted into, right? It might be coming to a webinar or a workshop or something else where I want to continue to explore the thing that I clicked into, but I'm not quite ready to understand if I have a full need and I'm ready to buy something yet, or buy something bigger at this point. So because of that, I have a different entry point. I go into the sales cycle at a different point. And through time, through a month, 2 months, 3 months, multiple touch points, me consuming a lot more of the content within kind of that ecosystem, now I start to kind of warm up to the idea. Maybe I've learned enough to understand that, maybe I do have this kind of one challenge or friction point, and I do want that solved. Maybe that I now trust the business or the company or the individual that's providing these services. Now maybe I've connected with some additional customers or clients of that business, and I'm starting to hear some success stories and things that they love about it and some things to pay attention to. And okay, now I'm kind of building this familiarity and I'm ready to maybe take that next step. For some products and services, that next step may be right to a sale. For others, it may be a little bit longer sales cycle. Traditionally higher ticket items for most people are going to take a lot more content consumption. Now, content consumption could be simply, actually consuming content, YouTube, social media posts, things like that, blog posts, etc. Or it could be like meetings and workshops and live events and different things like that. But being able to be in a environment where I'm able to consume things around me to know, is this a right fit for me based on the problems that I now know that I have? If the answer is yes, a sale is likely going to happen. So when we kind of put this frame on, it's important to understand that if all we're doing is focusing on getting to the end sale, like all I have is I'm going to find somebody online or in a networking event or offline or whatever, I'm going to find these people and then I'm going to sell them something. Now I've got this one or two thing that I can sell. Great. We're missing the boat. Because there's so much larger number of people who aren't ready or don't know that they're ready to make a purchase decision yet. So how do we bring them in? This is the process of creating a value ladder or a sales funnel overall. What's the free things that we can get? What are the low ticket, low barrier to entry things that we can provide? How can we get them engaged within the community that is what we provide overall? Because as we continue to warm them up and nurture them, then we can move them on to the next step. So if there's something that I could invite y'all to take a look at within your own businesses from this particular conversation, is go back and look at what are the things that I offer. Do I only have one thing? And if they say no, what do I do next? And if the answer is I don't know, I just let them go and maybe I'll follow up in a week and then I just say they're dead and I don't do anything else with them, right? That might be a gap in your overall sales process. Now, if the answer to that is, you know what, Tanner, you're right. They say no, and then I offer them this downsell. And if they say no to that, I offer them, well, at least you have to start with this thing here, right? And you've got a couple different downsells that you can use, and you know that as soon as you leave that call, you're going to opt them into this next piece, or you're going to continue to communicate with them over time to provide them the value based on the things that they told you. Okay, now you've got a true sales funnel. You've got a true kind of value ladder built in. So think about, ask yourself the questions about that. Really think about, what do I have in my business today? And if someone says no to my offer, what happens next? Do I have, or does my team have something that they can offer as a next step? Because just because they're not ready today doesn't mean they won't be ready forever. A mentor of mine had shared, and I really like this, kind of resonated, is when somebody says, I don't have time or I don't have money for that right now, what they're really saying is, I don't have time or money for you. And that's not something to take personally. It's just something to recognize and say, if they have time and money, but they're choosing to invest it elsewhere, they're not giving it to me as an example. Well, okay, then I probably haven't provided enough value. So what are some ways that I can provide value so that they see why it's worth prioritizing this thing, this solution, etc., over something else that they could choose to put their money or time into? It's okay to take those steps back to move the process forward. So think about your product ladder, think about where you can off-ramp people if they're not quite ready for the next step, and just continue to move the ball forward, continue to get the relationship built, provide value over time. And if you build this thing properly on the front end, it doesn't have to take a whole bunch of your time specifically. It doesn't have to be hundreds of meetings. It can be email campaigns. It can be content that you put out online. It can be all sorts of fun ways to provide this content and value to these folks, but we want them in our ecosystem. And that's kind of the overall thing that's been on my mind, and I wanted to share with you all today. So there's my fun little 10-minute segment here, just me solo podcasting today. And if you're a business owner and you're thinking about this, you're listening to this, take a minute, just take this next week and really think about, what do I offer? If someone says no, what else could I offer them? How else can I keep them engaged with me and my business? Because maybe they're not ready today, but they might be down the road, or better yet, they might know somebody who'd be a good fit for what we do. With that, I'll leave you all to it. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon.